Aloha champions, and welcome to our fourth project video for the week of May 24th. This is the project that I had in mind for Thursday, May 27th, 2021. I like this project after I've made my map of my island and my short story and researched the animals that are on that, because usually when you're making a cover page or a diorama or a comic book, you want to have your source material all ready. But some scholars, your writing process may be different than mine. You may find that, hey, I have an opportunity to draw a comic book. Maybe I'll start by drawing a comic book first, writing out maybe a few scenes of dialogue, and that will be inspiration for me in writing my short story. Or maybe if I create this elaborate cover page, this cover to my book that draws the reader in to read my book, then maybe they'll want to read my story, and maybe I'll want to write my story. So how you, in what order you do it is up to you. Just know that this is what I recommend for the fourth day of this week. So on the fourth day, I want you to draw a cover page or a comic strip about your short story, or maybe even make a diorama of your story that's happening on this fictional island that you've created. Your drawing, comic book, or diorama should have at least a title, who made the story, and a well drawn or created illustration that shows me that we took some time and deliberation in what we did, that might interest the readers in the story. I know we may not be the world's best artists. If you draw stick figures, that's perfectly fine. It's a good way to start, just as long as we take some time, whether we're adding in background or details into our drawings, making sure we try to fill as much of the page with information as we could. So for today, I've come up with two examples. An example of a cover page and an example of a comic that I've made for my story, The Island of Dread. I did not make a diorama. I did not have time to, but if that's something you want to do to have that 3D visual element to your project, you are more than welcome to go through doing that. Okay? So my cover page here, pretty simple. It says my title, The Island of Dread. It has a tower, which I'm calling the Tower of Fear, some cactus to show that we're in the desert, and a tortoise. I have that it's by Mr. Chambers, and I took a little bit of time on this. I could have spent more time. I was just making sure that I had an example here. I might add more details or here or there. Spines on my cactus, different colored bricks, or color in my sky a little bit more. But taking my time, drawing it out, have my title and who it's by. That's my example for the cover page. This works perfectly fine as an example for what I'd want you to do if drawing a cover page for your short story is what you want to do. Or you can draw a comic strip. And there's two things missing from my comic strip, so that even though I spent my time doing this, I forgot, and I'll add that in real quickly, the title of my story and who it's by. So The Island of Dread by Mr. Chambers. Because no matter how much time I spend on here, I need to remember the S in my name, and also that my requirements for this part of the project is it has a title, has my name, and I do a good job of taking some time to draw. So this short 6-panel comic, you can draw as many panels as you want, just recaps that first paragraph or first page of the story, in which we have Grandpa here saying, "I heard a tale from the oldest tortoise." And the tortoise will say, "Our island is in danger. The River Dread does not belong to one family. It needs to be shared by all. You must have peace between the three families. A brave warrior must go to the top of the Tower Dread. Grandpa, you've told this 1,000 times already. And if I wanted to, I could continue with my comic strip and go as far as I wrote or farther on. I can choose as many panels or as few panels as I want. I'm just taking my time to draw out what I see, whether that's in a cover page or in a comic book, just as long as I have a title, who it's by, and I take my time to do my drawing. If I wanted to make a diorama, I could make a scene using Lego people at the Tower of Dread or having some kind of conversation. That's perfectly fine. However, you want to go about creating a visual element that ties into your story beyond your map. So you have your map, you know what animals there on your island, you've created a short story. Now you're creating a visual element that kind of tells us the story or gets people interested in reading the short story that you created. Okay? So have fun with this. Take your time. It's okay if you're not the world's best artist. Do what you're comfortable with. If you aren't the best artist, I might recommend a cover page because that's one drawing that you have to do. If you really get into this and want to draw a full comic, go for it. Have fun. That's the main part of these projects. We've had a long year in 4th grade, all online, and we haven't had nearly as many projects as I normally would have. So hopefully with this week, you're getting all the fun projects that you would want. Just try to remember what's required. And for this drawing, a title, who it's by, and that you just take your time. That's all I'm asking for. So hopefully you have fun, and I look forward to seeing you in our 5th and final project video for this week.